Good morning. Quick sound check, please. Hope everybody had a nice weekend, nice little long weekend. Thank you very much. Okay, appreciate that, guys. So here's the situation. They traded him up into the holiday weekend. We talked about that a couple of times last week. That was kind of just the way it works most of the time. You can't count on it, but it is common. Okay. We've got four. Okay, let me back up. As long as they stay above 422.14, that's that gap we kept talking about for weeks and weeks and weeks. So they've hit it this morning, pre-market thieves, all that stuff. They can push up a little bit. They're going to come back to it. All right. This isn't a runaway. They're going to be at 427 by 10 o'clock in the morning. That's not what's going to happen here. 99 out of 100 times. Okay. Can happen. Anything can happen. We understand that. But 423.30 to 424 is an opportunity where they should stop going higher if they jam them up a little bit out of the boat by the dip crowd, chasers, whatever it is. That's an area where they should stop going up first. They could immediately pull back. Could take a little while, but that's an area. And I know it's close to 425, and 425 is the whole gateway to a whole nother leg higher. Again, 99 out of 100 times, that's not happening this morning. Okay, that's stuff. This is filling the gap, maybe suck some traders into the long side, go up a little higher, all that stuff. They'll be back to run a test. They'll be back. This isn't, they have the excuse of the debt deal, the deficit, the debt ceiling. They have the excuse behind them, but the reality is there's no deal yet. The Senate could shoot it down. They have to regenerate it. The market goes down for a couple of days while that happens. All that's possible. Okay. So this is normal garden variety, just dog and pony show stuff. They do the same stuff every time. As soon as they make a deal, the market pops, but it still could be a sell the news event. Let's see how it goes. Okay. We have not much for stocks on the move this morning. One that I had up there early is already not there anymore. That was Alaska Airlines, forget that. And KSS maybe has a chance. That was like a late addition, so we'll see. And that's it. I got still more than 2 minutes to post time. That's all I got. Oh, by the way, if they have a shakeout operation below SPY chart, Jerry, I'm not sure what that means. If they're below the gap at 422.14, what does it open the door for? Well, there's nothing in between Friday's high, which is the last breakout area in the sequence, right? So that high is 420.77. And so between 477, the gap, and a spike of 420 is all support. They bounce it here or they come all the way down here. Either way, that's support. So on an early morning shakeout operation, that's the other side to watch out for. Okay. That's it. We'll see what happens. Patience, alter ego stuff. Don't chase the market around. Just wait for it to do something that we just talked about, one or the other. Still a minute to post time. All right, just about there. And they're off. Well, what do we have? Where is that? Okay. All right, if they're going to come down a little bit, let them come down. Just looking, watching. Again, one or the other, right? Not interested in anything in between. If it takes a while, it takes a while. That's the way it is.
Kohl's is almost at its first number of 1933. It's about a dime away.
They made an attempt to go higher. They didn't get anywhere, and they're below the gap. Again, it doesn't mean anything. So what do we got in Kohl's?
It flips like a pancake and bounced right in front of the number.
I see that. Okay. I won't even, well, yeah, I will. This is what happened in Kohl's. We were down here, 1933. All right. That's over. Again, with the spiders, the Qs, nothing's going on yet. They'll either come down a little bit in a shakeout or they'll buy them up and they'll get into the zone. One or the other is going to happen. But it could take it. They could eat some time off the clock and decide then. They eat time off the clock. Maybe they're building energy to go higher, but you can't bank on it. They start getting below the opening range low later on. That opens the door to the lower prices. We don't have an opening range yet. I'm just talking around things. Well, Armand, let me go over here to the Qs. And, here's your high risk. This is your gap. This is your high from Friday. So it's really in here. I mean, anything above this is buying high, hoping it goes higher. It's very difficult to do, not saying it won't, but that's from my perspective. Remember, they're now above that 50% retracement, long-term retracement in the Qs. So to me, what that means is they're spiking it. It's a big thing. So they could spike it by a few percentage points, but they're probably going to come back to it sooner than later. Doesn't mean they go below it. It just means, if they're intending to go to the next one, then it generally doesn't happen all at once. It can, but it generally doesn't. Not like this one. Not this big of a one. So again, the first order of business is up here somewhere, a spike of 420, 75, 77 in that neighborhood. Or even a touch of it, or, that's the first thing. There's nothing here. And that's why. It's just a guess in here. So I'm not willing to put a guess on the table, A, ever, and B, certainly not Tuesday morning, first day of the week, 10 minutes into the day. There's no reason for it. We're going to be patient. Yes, David, opening range would be after the first 30 minutes, high and low. That's the traditional technical person opening range, old school, not sure about new school. Qs are running up to the next place. These are places, but who's shorting it? I'm not. Not going to short the Qs. No way. That's me. This is just the melt up trade. It's been the melt up trade. Time's a lagger a little bit. So are the transports. So can you bank on that? No, but what they're not doing is leading. That's number one. And they're not even keeping pace. That's number two. So it's something to know about. You got Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, NVIDIA. NVIDIA is at that place above it, I think. Remember that? Look at that low today. It was right around that place. Just food for thought. This wasn't a short. Remember, this was a target. You don't really know where they're going to stop when they're in no man's land. When you look at the monthly chart, this has just gone parabolic. It will come into a place and reverse. No doubt about it. From where? Could it be 500? Could it be 440? Could it be 4.25? Could it be today? I don't know. But it will happen, obviously. Let's see if anything else is moving out there. Spiders just not doing anything. They're just hovering around the gap. That's normal garden variety stuff. What else we got? Oh, okay. Might have a candidate here. Give me a second. Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know if it happens today. All right. Spiders pulling back a little bit. That's fine. Doesn't mean they'll pull back more. It just means they're pulling back. Somebody keep an eye on AR. All right. If it breaks 20, let me know. That's all. That's not the number. But if it breaks 20, let me know. Still looking around. There's another candidate. This one's a spike low and rip it back up if they do it. 60 could hold. That's the problem. 60 is a big spot. But STX Seagate Technology. What do we got? I have no idea what a target range is, Armand, based on what I said in NVIDIA before. I didn't see your question, whether it was before or after. I don't know. No man's land. They're in the unknown. No, Mark. Wait. No, they already gave you the deal. Whether it does it again, it's another story. You want to take it down near 19, that's a different story. 19 is still okay. This price is no longer okay. KSS. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I misread your, yeah. Sorry, Mark. I misread your post there. I'm just looking at a lot of stuff. I'm sorry. Yes. 19, spike in 19 is still good. Yeah, I noticed that, Patrick. Financials are lagging. I was just looking at Comerica, but no dice. Yeah, it's a thin rally, but it's still, there's nothing you can do about it, Shannon. You're right. It's not broad, it's tech-based, it's AI again. Yeah, but it doesn't preclude the thing that price is up right now and it's not down. And so that's just price is the end absolute. But I agree with you. Again, back to the spiders. There's nothing to say. They're just eating time off the clock. Be right back. Still watching, still waiting. STX down at 59.20, but 60 is going to be a tough cookie to crack. And then you have a tweener. It's if. Don't know that they will, but there you go. Devon, let me take a look at Devon. Be right back. Oh yeah, we already have the number on the board. There's Devon, 46.30 to 45.88.
Coles is getting close to its second number, but it looks like it might be bouncing a little bit in the head of it.
Let's take a look. Is that what we had? Yeah.
Yep, that's right.
We can call that a pivot. I think I did. So now, the more time that has passed, the more evidence begins to build that below the gap / the pivot, the door is open for a further pullback. Until or unless they make a bottom, that pullback only, I'm in, let's say with, I mean, the number is 420.77. So it's a give or take down to Friday's close. Okay. And let's just say I have a number of 419.80. So that's the zone. That's what I'm interested in. I'll be back in 30 seconds. Back, they're dripping. They're starting to do the thing that is the first place of interest. Okay. Let it happen. Patience. That is a place. That is a zone. It's here, anywhere in between, down to a spike of 420. I got it at 419.80. Okay. Yeah, I'm not interested, Mark, in STX at 60. I'm just saying 60 is going to be a tough nut to crack. Low. And keep in mind, if the spiders are going to come all the way down into this zone, most everything will get pulled down along with it. And then if things are into their support area and the spiders are going to bounce, they bounce along with it. That's the way it works the large majority of the time. Let's see what else we have. Again, if you're a one-trick pony, one contract, one entry player, you really need to wait for him to get down into the zone because the higher end of the zone is too much risk for you. If you're a multiple entry player, it's 1, 2, 3 or 1, 2, top, middle, bottom, top, bottom. Paint by the numbers. If they bounce 421.75, will be some overhead resistance and then also the gateway back up to the gap / pivot. And here's the way we think about it from an alter ego perspective. Subconscious, conscious, all of the above. If they bounce and they don't get to my zone, and I'm just speaking in terms of, I'm giving you my thoughts. If they don't bounce to my zone, pardon me, if they don't pull back to my zone and they bounce first, then that's fine. They didn't give me the trade I wanted, and I'm okay with that because I only want what I want. If they do give me into the zone, I'm willing to begin a trade at 420.77, give or take, down to 419.80, give or take, okay? And that's my trade plan as the market comes down. If the market goes back up, we'll develop a different plan. And that's the way you treat it as a business. You don't chase it around. You chase it around, it starts to go up. All of a sudden, it looks like it's going up. You jump on board. They get to 421.75, boom, pull back. And that's why we don't chase it. You think they're going to the gap. They don't. They stop short. All right, making another attempt. Nah, just really don't, Mark. It just, at some point, yes. I'll take a look at it on the futures chart in a moment. That's right, Paul. You never win when you chase. Here we go. All right, they're in the showtime zone. Are they going to fill the gap or are they going to come up short? Either way, 419.80 is the other side of the zone, showtime. Okay. Still normal right now. There's nothing wrong. They're doing the thing. They're not going to, all situations, all trades don't work out, but the majority of them do the thing they're supposed to do. It never looks like it until it does it. I'm your alter ego, just talking you through. I'm going to move this down for a second. Okay. Just stretch it a little bit. It's not a big deal. Yeah, and we talked about this just a minute ago, Mark, and I'm not surprised that it comes down a little lower, Coles we're talking about, because the draft of the market was lower, so everything kind of goes in sync for a while at a certain point. And so if the spiders are bouncing like they are right here, I expect coal to try and bounce because they are at an important place. But to go lower while the market's going lower is the norm. Let's see what the Qs are doing. Yep. We'll put it in perspective. The spiders are up 6 points on the day. Pardon me, the S&P's up 6 points on the day. Maybe they fill the gap. They come a little below it, but this is not a big move one way or the other. This is just kind of slowly getting off to the starting gate for the week one way or the other. That's what this is. Slowly getting out of the starting gate. That's all this is. It's because they've come down a little bit, $1, whatever. It's not a big deal. Just put it in perspective, just talking around things. Record, I'm sure that we've got some traders that already took a scalp trade off that. Don't have to. We have some that did, I'm sure. There you go. Kyler, base hit, nice job. Yeah, lead, base hit, and then that's fine. And again, it's trader's choice how we want to handle that. And what I want to say is it's still a support zone. So if they do come lower, there's another opportunity. You just make them spike the low and you still have the lower portion of the zone. So there may be another opportunity or they may bounce away. And if they do, what's resistance? 421.75 up to the gap at 422.14 above that. And it's off to the highs of day and they get into that area where the door will open for the zone up at 423.30 to 424. Now that was a big mouthful, but that's the story. That's the schematic. Let me take a look at Avago. Bear with me. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, it's the same as NVIDIA. Like they're in no man's land. Avago, watch this. What does this remind you of that we already looked at today? Watch this, right? It's NVIDIA. It's the same thing. Do they get to 1,000, come up short of 1,000, spike through 1,000? Is today it? Is next week it? I can't tell you. There's no way to know. No idea. Intraday, there's no idea. I mean, what is this? There's no trade here. I'm sorry. Not for me. To me, this was a guess, or it would be a guess. I don't do you a service by guessing. That's the way I look at it. Earnings report Thursday, it's definitely going to move. Which way? Don't know. Don't know. No way to know. Let's get back to the spiders for a second. I'll look at that in a moment, Armand. Let's get back to the spiders and how many traders have booked a profit and holding a trailer? Come back down, folks that are holding a trailer. You've got the upper hand. You're in the driver's seat, which means that you can choose to take the trailer off and not let it go negative on you and just say, all right, I got a base hit, and if they come lower, I'll buy it back. You could do that. Or you can hold the trailer and add to it, but you're still in a support zone until we're not. Now, personally, I wouldn't let the trailer go bad on me. That's me. I'm just giving you the options. I just wouldn't do it. And think of it like this. So worst case is you start the game off early in the game, and the game being the week in this concept. Start the game off with a base hit. That's pretty good. Who wouldn't take that? before the game started, would you say, hey, I want to start the game off with a base hit? Yeah, absolutely. Great job. The only way you could score runs is by piling up the hits. So you got to start with one. Good job, Lee. You know, some traders waited for the spike. Some traders bought it at 420.77. Some traders bought it twice down there. I mean, we've got something for everybody type of situation. 6 points. That's fantastic. By the way, that's our base hit. 5 to 7, generally speaking, is our base hit. So I'm not going to suggest a support zone or a resistance zone where the reward isn't at least 5 to 7 S&P points. I'm not looking for 2 points. Just curious what happened to STX. Well, there you go at 60. Remember that? Just it wasn't good enough for me, but it was going to be a tough nut to crack. I knew that, but it wasn't good enough. That's too bad. All right, I'm here. I'll be doing a thing or two, but I'm watching. I'm right here. The spiders are doing what they're supposed to be doing. That's it. You know, I say cavalier. I say it sound like I'm saying it cavalier sometimes, where, you know, most of the time they're going to do the thing, but most of the time they do the thing. Well, it's getting into the nice trade camp. KSS, nice bounce. There you go. Nice job. Jerome took it. Timothy took it. Nice job. Yeah, 1935, give or take, is going to be some overhead resistance, but that doesn't mean it can't bounce further. 1935 to 1940, you know, that area. Nice job, Mike. All right, so this is a nice little trade in the spiders. We got some players in KSS. Nice start to the week. Slow and steady. Slow and steady. Nice trade, folks. Look at that. Right to 421.75. How you doing? Nice trade. This is another exit area for those interested to take an exit. Not saying they can't get back to the gap and all the way up here. I'm just saying for treating it as a business purpose. It's just the fact. Distance area, traders would have been wise to take an exit up there. If you're holding, that's fine. That's trader's choice, but this was a nice trade. And KSS got to what? 1935. Shocker. Okay. So I'm assuming that was some kind of exit for some that were in KSS. It should have been. What was the bid at the time, Armand? That's the kicker. You should have got filled. Maybe you did and it's delayed, or was that a while ago? Nice job, Gerardo. See that? Right into the resistance zone and the pullback. So you didn't know that was going to happen. That's why it's an exit. In case, if they come down again, there's an opportunity on the table for the spike to low and rip it back up in the other direction routine. Now the low is 420.40. My next number is 419.80. The next zone is 419.80 to 418.90. To do with that information. Can they spike the low, not get to the number and rip it back up? Yes, that's the high risk trade. The lower risk trade is you wait for them to spike 420, get as close as you can to 419.80 or a spike of it. The other end of that zone is 418.90. And if they give it to you, fine. And if they don't, fine. That's the way you have to treat it. We have something for everybody. There's very aggressive traders that'll buy all three. And then there are the traders that'll wait for the number and the zone. But that's the setup. They got to resistance, they pulled back. Normal garden variety stuff. Let them come down. Patience, right? We took one trade, you got it. Base hit, double, whatever you got. Now let them do something else. The next thing. That trade's over. Devin, 46.30. Down to 45.88. Devin. They spiked the low, they ripped it back up in the other direction. Shocker. All right, again, some traders took that already, and some traders are waiting for the numbers. We don't know which one they're going to do, but we can choose which one we would like based on our own risk tolerance, what makes us comfortable. Why do I say comfortable? because when we take a trade we're uncomfortable with right out of the get-go, we just take it because we think it's going to work because somebody said it, but we're uncomfortable with it nonetheless. You're looking for an excuse to get out and you make bad decisions when you're in an uncomfortable position. That applies to our life. We make bad decisions when we're in an uncomfortable position most of the time. Okay, it's not anything we can fault ourselves for, it's just the nature of the beast. So the same thing applies to the market. So you have to do what you're comfortable with. If you were not comfortable with buying it before the number, then you're not in a trade right now, and that's fine. If you were comfortable buying the spike of the low before the number and you're in a trade right now, that's fine. Something for everybody. That's why I laid them both out. What I'd like to know is how many traders took the spike the low and rip it back up in the other direction in front of the number? Mike, 7 points, nice job. Yep. Kyler, Brian, Michael, Saul, Paul, all nice. Nice. Okay. Nice job. Here's the current thing. 420.77 is still the high from Friday. Above it is still the breakout. Below it is not. So it's still important. So below 420.77, there's still an opportunity to come lower again and again into the zone and again for another opportunity. If they get back above it, it's going to open the door back to the gap at 422.14, or at least start to work back up there once again. They already tried it once, they got rejected. The question is, are they going to try it again? And if they get back above 420.77, the answer is yes, they'll likely try it again. That's the current schematic, both sides. I think I just answered that, Mike. There's really nothing in between that. Now it's about staying above 420.77. Yeah, I would say for short term, we could look at 420.77 as a pivot for now. Yeah, sure. I agree with that for those reasons. Think about the big picture, and it's not even that big of a picture. It's just from the other day. Staying above here, they got rejected. They came back to run a test. They got above. Can they stay above? That's it. That's what we're looking at. It's the same here. An hourly chart, 4-hour chart, 2-hour chart. I don't care what chart you look at. That's what's going on. They ran up to this place and got rejected. They came back to this place. Are they going to be able to get back above, or they get rejected again? They got, and so the whole thing is about the former high, which is the same as this. And this former high is 420.72, right? So you want to move this down. We can even, it doesn't matter. We'll use Friday's high because it's higher. But that's the whole story. 72, 77, it's a nickel. It doesn't matter. That's what they're doing. That's what they did. That's what they're doing. And it's not any more complicated than that. We go over this stuff all the time. And this is just another one of those times where they're doing the same thing. It's out of the bucket of things. This is today's thing, one of them. Same thing, if you have a trailer on, don't let it go bad on you, buy it again lower, or you take the base hit. Now you got a man on first and second with nobody out in the beginning of the game. Not a bad place to be. Maybe we'll do a double steal or bunt them over. If you have patience, then you wait for them to do the thing you want if there's another trade on the board. And if they don't, you're okay with it. You don't have to chase it around. You don't have to wish you were in a trade. You don't have to get FOMO. We just one base hit at a time. If you missed the last one, you get the next one. That's just the way it is. So we're not surprised that they're hanging around 420.77, 72. Why? Because it's a really big, important place and it sets the stage for another leg higher. That's why. Notwithstanding the fact that 422.14 was right there, the gap that we've been looking at for a long, long time. But was that all they came back to do, or did they come back to do more like the SMH? Remember the SMH? And I know Armand asked me about this before, sorry. Remember the SMH? Well, now you got high of day, which is gonna be a tough nut to crack anyway. SMH, the number was now way lower. It was, I have to go to my other screen, 132.70. Now it was a whole different chart. But the point is that if in fact, wherever that is, 132.70, if in fact they were, that was the next number they had to go to. But if they were just, came up short, pulled back, build energy, busted through, well, the actual number is somewhere else. And that's the same concept, different chart here, where is it really just, this is it? Or remember, and I'll harken back to, let me get rid of this. I'll harken back to the daily chart. And we have this, if I could find where it is again, this inverse head and shoulders, okay? Where was that? I always forget where it is. That's why I leave it on the other chart. Let me bring up the other chart. Here. So we have this inverse head and shoulders, okay? I believe that was it. No, I'm not sure that was it. Either way, wherever it is, I'll figure it out later for the video tonight. It's on my other chart, but it just looks different. I'm not sure why. That goes higher. That target, and I'll do it now. The spiders are just floating. We'll do it now. Was way lower. March, April. No, that's a different thing. Hold on, let me bring it up again. Maybe you're right. 3.6. Yeah, you're right. It was here. 3.6. That's it. Sorry, guys. This chart still looks different to me. That's why. Now that's the same. Okay, I was just in the wrong area. Sorry about that. Now, thank you. Who told me that? Tyler, thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, straighten me out. All right, so basically, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take 405.5 down to the low of 380.65. All right, so just run the math on that. I already forgot what it was. Yeah, 405.50. So you can do it two ways. All right, you can take it from the same spot and project up, and you take the difference between this price and this price down here, which is like 24 bucks, give or take. It comes up to 430.35. Right? Or you take it from the point it broke out at 400, and it brings you to 425. And that's it. It's just textbook stuff. It's not magic. I didn't invent it. I don't have the patent on it. That's just the way it's done. So you have a range between 425 and 430. And that's the target for the head and shoulders pattern. 424.90, 424.72, 425.38, who knows? But that's the general range. Okay? 75 what, David? I'm not sure I understand. So let's get rid of this. It was so long ago that I forgot where it was. So the point is that if we're in a melt-up situation, then there's more. And whether you like it or not, whether the news cycle is climbing the wall of worry or not, price is always the absolute. Yeah, I'm not sure about the 7.5. I just do it my way, which is, I think, the way you do it. Sorry, just forget it. It's good. We did it the right way. But you can't get to the 425 until you get back above the gap at 422.14. Everything happens in stages, one stage at a time. All right, be right back. No change. 419.80 is the next spot. Now, traders still holding a trailer from the low of the spike to low, if they were near the low and they didn't get stopped out, that's fine. Traders that may have taken it all off and are just waiting with a flat account, right? A flat, they're flat. You wait for 419.80 to 418.90. That's the way it is. And if they don't give it to you, fine. And if they do give it to you, fine. That's the way you treat it as a business. That's the way you keep it as unemotional as you can, mechanical, and a process, knowing that most of them are going to work. Some won't, but most will. And you just have that attitude. And you position size yourself to where you're not in a bad situation if you're in one of those situations where this one's not going to work. You know, it's just one of X, and sometimes you're just going to take a loss, but you can't have that loss be a big loss. So you have to size your position accordingly. And with that, I'm going to take a walk around. So I'll be back in a couple of minutes. I'll put up the sign and everything. All right. Just give me 3 to 5. Okay. Let's just take a look at something real quick. Let's take a look at the hourly charts. All right. So, you know, you can make a case that this is the case for some kind of at least short-term reversal candle. I'll make that case. Okay. I can make the same case with the IWM. We found support Friday at that place. Thursday, that was Thursday. Remember that number? It's no good anymore. Make a case that's a reversal candle. Same thing in the spiders. Now, could they float all the way up and negate it and all that stuff? Absolutely. I'm not saying to short the market because we can make the case it's a reversal candle. We're studying the chart. That's all we're doing. We already know where the trade is. For our purposes, the trade is down here. Now, if they're going to have a fall later on, if that's a reversal candle, if they're going to have another hourly candle down, all that stuff, you can't guess that that's going to happen. That's not what we're doing here. So I just want to differentiate the two, just so we all are on the same page. We don't know that that will or won't happen. Our objective is to take trades that work for profit, hit and run, and go about our business. That's what we're doing here. So there's two different things that we're talking about at the same time. If they're going to come down all the way here today, there could be 2-3 trades on the way down. Can you short it here saying they're going to get there later? No, because you don't know they will. That's the difference. You could take a guess, and if they do it, you say, see, I told you. You could do that. I wouldn't do that. Right, Jan. That's the torture trade, the waterboarding trade. Especially after they're down, right? You short it because you say, all right, look at that hourly candle. They're going to go down today. And you short it, and they're hanging around this 420.77, and next scene shows an hour from now, they're pushing towards 422, and you're saying, oh my God, that's the torture trade, because you shorted them while they were already down. You don't know if they're going to go lower. You know, if they can't get above 420.77, the odds increase. That I could tell you. If they continue to close candles below, the odds increase. That I could tell you. Any change? No. Just hanging around. Questions, put them in the box. Yep. Paul's got it. Never shorted dull tape. Morning rush is over, obviously. 420.77. We know why that's an important place. 77 to 72. They're hanging around. Grant, you mean the stop is under the low of day? Well, what's below the low of day? 419.80. What's the low of day? 420.19. You want to stop out? You want to stop out there? That's really not the place. I suppose you could stop out at break even. I think the break even's a better place. I wouldn't be liquidity. What does that mean? It means that's where the rip it back up in the other direction trade goes back on the table. You don't want to be the reason that buyers found liquidity down there. It's my 2 cents. Not really, Kyler. Normally it may, normally it would, but it's so slow that even if they go down more today, this type of tape will give you those bounce back trades. And maybe you say, all right, well, because the 8 time off the clock, I'm going to make them spike into it. It doesn't change the number, but say, all right, I'll make them spike into it a little bit. I'll make them spike it by 15 or 20 cents, and I'll still be willing to buy down at 418.90. You could do that. It's a tight zone in there. The tape is very slow, and the volume is very low. And there's a lack of participation. You're coming into the end of the month. Concept. don't know that this will happen, can happen, all that stuff. Are they going to hold them up into the end of the month, or are they going to pull the rug out? Normally they'll hold them up into the end of the month, get a little pop the first day of the month. That's kind of the way it works. I'm not saying it will. We don't know. It's just in the back of your mind. In other words, are they going to get too far today? Probably not. Now that'll all change if they start getting below 418.90 and start closing candles below. Then it opens the door for lower stuff. Then all of a sudden you have a reversal day on your hands and the first hour candle, all that stuff. That'll come into play. But while that's happening, if it's happening, they're still going to bounce around. So there's two things going on that could be happening at the same time. And that's normally the case. What's happening from a longer picture perspective, larger time frame, could be happening over a longer period of time. And in between, the noise in between the hourly chart is the 5-minute candles, the 10-minute candles, the 15-minute candles. That noise goes back and forth most of the time in between, and they provide trades. Here they come, down into the zone. Maybe. If they do, traders interested, 419.80 or 418.90. You want to make them spike it, trader's choice. You want to buy the top, trader's choice. You want to wait for the bottom, trader's choice. I give you the information. You do what you're comfortable with. That may be true, Kyler, about Apple, but what can we do with that information? I don't know. If it is, it won't stay that way. 420 is a natural thing, right? 420 is a big fat round number. 420.09, they bounce it. They don't get there, they bounce it. They leave you at the altar. They didn't get to the number. You know, all that doesn't have to be a trade. Only if they do it. Traders that were buying a spike of the low, that's high risk at this stage. Closing price, 419.98, meaning 419.98 was Friday's closing price. That's the official gap. The low is still 420.09. Yeah, come up short. Be right back. Maybe they'll do it while I'm gone. I'll be back in 30 seconds. All right, I'm back. Just be patient. If they do it, fine. If they don't, fine. Many of you are in a 2 for 2 camp today. If you just painted by the numbers, and with that being said, I would say 2 for 2 is fine. 3 for 3 is great. Both are great. If they give you the third, fine. If they don't, fine. So what do you look at it? Alter ego stuff. Yeah, if it's close, meaning Paul's saying NVIDIA hit $1 trillion market cap. If it's close, the force of gravity or the force of nature is just going to bring it there. I think Apple hit that once too. Maybe they're above it. I don't know if they're above it today. They probably are. I have no idea. But the same thing happened whenever that happens, that type of thing, just the force pulls it up there. May the force be with them. Well, there you go. There you go. Well, showtime again. Just patient now. We wait for them to do their thing again. They may come deeper into the zone. They may bounce here, anything in between. But this is the place where the next thing should be a bounce. Much below 418.90 on candle closes, and it's going to change the thing. It's going to start to look wrong. Know both sides, know where you're wrong. Just patient, wait for them to do their thing. They come lower, it doesn't mean the trade isn't working. It means it's in process and they just came lower into the zone. There's nothing wrong with that. One of the mindset things that we have to keep in mind, one of the things is just because we took a trade at the top end of a zone and it may be red in what we're looking at, we shouldn't be looking at it. Just know the numbers. You don't have to look at the thing going up and down in your account. It promotes bad thinking. Like when you look at one of those DOMs and it's red and you're down a few $100 or whatever, a few thousand, whatever it is, you have different thoughts. So just because the trade didn't work at the front end of the zone on the number exactly doesn't mean it's not going to work. Now, by the way, since they've come down, it's still the morning session. What are we looking for? We're looking for a morning low and a bounce. Doesn't have to be a low that makes new highs. It can be, but it doesn't have to be. We're looking for a morning low and a bounce. That's it. 419.80. Below that, it opens the door for the next place or in between. And above that, they'll bounce. and they'll make you wait. Sometimes short term, sometimes longer term. They'll make you wait a little bit. Don't forget, they're going to try and shake you out sometimes. Just alter ego stuff. You need to write this stuff down, put it on a sticky note. Is the market trying to shake me out, or are they just coming deeper into the zone? Which one is it? That's the thought process. Well, if I know about the zone, then they're coming deeper into the zone. If I don't know about the zone and I guessed, then they're trying to shake me out. Maybe they come down to 419.50 and bounce halfway in between, something like that. That's normal garden variety stuff. There's 4 points for you, or more, depending on where you bought it. Did we know there was a 100 period moving average on a 5-minute chart when I put the number out this morning? Of course not. Funny how that works. Okay. This one. Oh yeah, 420.77 is the next target for sure. 72 to 77. 3 for 3, Kyler. Nice job. Pretty much pays for the thing, right? Yeah. You know, we had a couple of traders over the late last week, or just say over the last week, sign up for annual plan for the room. And that's confidence, number one. And I appreciate that very much. Number two, a morning like this morning, those traders most likely, if not both, one at least probably paid for the whole ride. Yeah, nice trade. Hey, you look at it this way. Well, let's stick with the same metaphor, right? At this point, if you just followed along, you got bases loaded. It's early in the game, right? It's still like the second inning of the week, first inning, second inning of the week. And you get bases loaded, nobody out. It's not a bad position to be in. You get the number 4 hitter coming up. Nice job, Mike. That's all right, Kyler. Nice job, Robert. 15 points on the day with 2 trades for Lee. How you doing? Great job, everybody. I mean, this is it. Just slow and steady. Just wait for him to do the thing you want. You don't chase it around. Nice job, John. All 3 for Paul. All right. I'm ready for the Grand Slam mark. Well, we'll see about that. We don't look for it, but sometimes it happens. Jeff, nice job. Yeah, this is what you signed up for. You're not going to be like this every day. Some days is wild. Some days we're going to take a loss. It's going to happen. Just remind you of that. But for the most part, if you have the numbers, you can make the trades. Any questions, comments, complaints? I think what I'm going to do is do the thing where I go on break for a while, come back about 12:15 or so. We'll do a wrap up at that point or see what if the market's wild, I'll stick around for a while. If it's not, we won't. But I'll give the final schematic and all that stuff. So any last comments, questions, complaints before I take a break for a while? I'll give it 5 minutes or so. Complaints first, please. You're right, Michael. Well, this could be a complaint about something else. Who's us, Mike? You play on the Heat? I got it. I'm just kidding with you. My son made a bet with a friend of his when the Heat were up 3-1 in the series. And his bet was $20, but he only wins 10 if the Heat win at that point because they were up 3-1. And his friend took the other side and he was going to win 20. So that was pretty fair. And all of a sudden, it's tied up 3-3, but I guess my guy won $10. We'll see if he gets paid. Probably not, Mike. Nice trade over here, huh? I mean, look at this. I mean, not for nothing, but this is pretty picture perfect today. Good job, Grant. Look at that. And there you have it. Not bad. We got folks holding a trailer. Let me find out. Yeah, the wrong part hasn't changed, Shannon. 1890. Nice timing, Mike. Nice job. Sometimes it just works out that way. You just take it and go on. Sometimes it works out the other way, so you get the upper hand this time. Nice job, Lee, Grant, Paul, Mike, still holding a third. Bob holding a trailer. Shannon, nice job. I mean, this is just fantastic. I mean, this is a know when to fold them type of situation. 3 for 3, bases loaded. We were looking for a morning low. We got it. If you're holding a trailer, you hold it. If you're flat, you take a break. That's it. Look at this. Right back up above. right back to above that. And all they did was a shakeout operation down to my number, turn around, put in a morning low, have a nice day. Isn't that beautiful? Just looking around. Patience, you got it, Mike. This proves the importance of patience, quote unquote, from Mike A. You got it. Okay, I'm going to take a break for a while, and I didn't see any complaints in there. That's surprising. I'm going to take a break for a while. We know the routine, we know the story, we know the important stuff. 420.77. They come back down. The next number for me is 418.90, and I'm unlikely to take it one more time. 3 for 3, and I'm packing it in. That's just me. At least on a morning like this, I'm not going to mess it up. And if you take a trade, by the way, if you take another trade, all right, you don't risk but a portion of the profits you've already booked. A portion, like 25% max type thing. You just scale it down now. Don't try and hit a home run on the fourth trade. The odds are stacked against you that you're ultimately going to take a loss. I'm just telling you the law of averages does play a factor. I can't tell you if you're going to take a loss. I can just tell you 3 for 3 is good. All right. Any more, you start to push it. Not that you can't, but it's just me. It's just the way I think about it. I don't want to push it. Yeah. Paul made 104% today. What are you looking for, right? I mean, if I came to you at 9:28 and said, hey, would you be happy with 104% today, 105%? What would you say? Anyway, all right. I'll be back at 12:15. Appreciate everybody. Really nice job today. I like it, pretty easy. It's never easy, but today was easy. Be back. Appreciate everybody. Okay, so I'm back. They're not doing anything. They can't get back above the breakout area. They can't get back above this stuff here and Friday's high. As a result, we do have the makings of a reversal candle, and they can still come lower. Doesn't mean they're not going to go back up later, tomorrow, or the next day. It just means they can't get above 420.77 for now. And if they can't, there's still an opportunity for one more time, spike the low, bounce back in the other direction, right in this zone. I adjusted the number, 419.55 to 418.90. That's another opportunity for those that want it. I may not be here when that happens. I don't know, but I'm just saying it's still an opportunity on the table. So those of you that want it, you understand the risk. You don't risk more than a portion of the profits, meaning if it's wrong, you're still walking away with a nice day. If you can't do that, don't do it. AR, let's see what's going on there. Yeah, it's still too far away. Let me get the number. I forgot what it was. Still too far away. But that's the number. We'll get another one. Create a zone. That's too far away. There's not enough time to, this would have to be done in the morning. There's not enough time. If they came into this at 1 o'clock this afternoon and they started going lower and it's 3 o'clock by the time they get down here, you're running out of time. So you can't do this. It's 19 bucks. Just saying. Keep it on for tomorrow. Keep it on the list. We got any last minute stuff? I mean, there's nothing. I'm not going to stick around to find out if they're going to do the next zone. I gave it to you. If you want it, take it. If you don't pack it in. Remember, the market's like a store. We go to the store in the morning to get a couple of items. We have some errands to do, whatever. We go into the store, we get what we need, and we get out. This morning, we went to the store. We had an opportunity to pick up 3 items. Some of us only found 2. Some of us found 1, whatever. And we get out of there. We don't have to shop there all day long. Just because the market's open all day doesn't mean we have to shop there all day. You don't have to have every trade to every last bite. Last call for alcohol. Give it a few minutes and then we'll give it a wrap. I'm not messing this day up. Know when to fold them. Questions, comments, complaints? You and I was talking about NVIDIA, sorry. We have a question on NVIDIA or a comment starting to fall, which will drag down the queues, maybe. And what I was saying was, my number is my number. You don't have to believe in my number. Today we have low of day, which is close enough. Low of day is 402.67. And if they start closing candles below, it opens the door for this white space down to the gap, maybe 395. But if they stay above high of day, low of day, sorry, including my number, which is in the same area, they could just be eating time off the clock and do it all again tomorrow. But they are putting in some, this is early in the day, so we don't know how the day's going to finish. 4-hour candle will close in a little over an hour. 3-hour candle will close in 7 minutes, right? 2-hour candle is not really a topping signal, but it is what it is. And it's just, it could be, but it's not good enough to say anything. You can't do anything with that information. If NVIDIA falls, will it drag down the queues? Probably. Yeah, probably. I can't argue with that one. Oh, so I was saying, Shannon says, do you put any belief into the end of the month markup, not as a tradable thing, but curious if that really happens as people say it does? Well, it's not that, I mean, I'm sure people say it does, but yeah, it does happen. Like, they'll hold the market up. Who's they? The market will hold itself up into the end of the month, maybe the first day or so of the following month, and then they'll have a pullback. And that certainly does happen. And we talked about it last week in that, look, they can run them up right into the holiday weekend, the 3-day holiday weekend. Then you have the next 2 days is the end of the month. They could hold them right up into that and trade them right up into that. So there's no reason they can't do that. So I would say, yeah, you're right. It's not like you could just buy it because that might happen, but to know about it, we're in that sweet spot where they did phase one. They traded them right up into the holiday weekend, not right into the last minute, but right into the holiday weekend. They do it all the time. Talked about it. They did it. It's behind us now. Just because there's a lot of stuff going on out there, the wall of worry is always stacked. Doesn't mean anything. Never does. They can always select an item when the market goes down to assign the reason and the excuse the market went down. That's the reason the wall of worry is there. They have plenty to choose from. But while the market's going up, none of that stuff matters. The debt ceiling, the Senate might not do it. They might lose votes. Who knows? It doesn't matter. The Fed's going to raise interest rates. Okay, we already knew that. Then you have the pundits. No, they won't. Yes, they will. This is going to be the last one. No, it won't. Yes, it will. They don't know anything. That's why they're pundits. Talking heads. They're a head that talks. They don't know what they're talking about. Most of them. The large majority of them, just like everything else. It's the 80-20 rule, plus. Very infrequent somebody rolls on TV that actually knows what they're talking about. And when they do know what they're talking about, a lot of times those people get dismissed because they're on the other side of the boat. Remember what we said before? If this is a reversal candle, they may come down, but they'll provide more trades in the interim. Well, what did they do here? They provided one of those trades. Now they're coming down again. Well, they provide another one of those trades in this zone. Maybe. Let's take a look at Avago. Is that a collapse? Yep, look at that. Somehow that was the number. I wish I knew that. Wasn't my number. I didn't have a number because of that. Well, let's see. No, my number would have been lower. I had it here. I don't know what that's from. That's from another time. Let's see something. No, I had nothing. Absolutely nothing. That is some pullback. It's down $100. Almost. That's a reversal. Look at that. Is today the last day? Is today the last day for AI for a while? Is that what's going on? Is today the AI crescendo day for at least this time around? Could be. Could be. It's coming one way or the other, whether it's today or some other day. You're going to get a crescendo. You're going to get a retracement. At least, look at this. I mean, who could dispute this? At some point, are we going to come back to retest the last breakout area at 350, 340, whatever? What's the high? 346.47. right? 346.47. Let's put it on now. Leave it there. Leave it there. Someday they'll be back. Whenever. I mean, if this is going to come down, this is 385, right? 390, 385. Today, tomorrow, the next day. If this is going to be a top, at least the daily top for a few days, it's 385. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think you're right about that. The AI was like the last. It was like this go around's meme stock thing, right? The meme stocks, the garbage stocks, AI stocks, .coms. You know, .com was totally different. It was a much broader based market phenomenon. But this is, you know, a little mini bubble, a mini craze, a mini meme, whatever you want to call it. You know, let me just put a damper on the AI thing for a second, right? There's a lot of future with AI, whatever it is. It's intelligence, it's computer power, it's programming, you know, for the computer to do, it's like deductive reasoning, if you will, to an extent, whatever it is, okay? But think about this for a second. When you type in one of these questions to a customer service place online, whatever you bought, you go to their box on their website and it says, you know, chat box, and all of a sudden, half the time you're not speaking to a person, you're speaking to a robot, and the robot is taking the best rendition of what it thinks your question is, and it's spitting back an answer. And sometimes it's good, and sometimes it's not. More often it's not. But the reality is that's AI. So AI has a lot of variations of simple to complex and everything in between. And what's happening now is, or what happened over the last period of time is, everybody that said that they have AI inserted in their business, like the one I just described, was getting a bump on the AI meme stock craze. Okay, some of them are real big companies like NVIDIA and Broadcom and all that stuff, and they're getting the benefit, and everybody in between. But AI has a lot of variations. It's simplistic to a degree, and then it's very complex to a degree, and everything in between. That's my take in AI. I don't have a patent on that, but it's just my take. Here, low of day, 402.67. Sorry, low of day, yeah, 402.67. So they spiked it, and now they're in the camp of trying to hold it. Just saying. Last call for alcohol. Last minute questions, comments, complaints. I'm going to wrap it, folks. Yeah, you're all welcome. Grant, Kyler, everybody. I appreciate everybody. It works both ways. This only works two ways. You have to be learning, and you have to have the confidence that this stuff works. And I have to get it right. Not going to get it right every time, but I got to get it right most of the time. Otherwise, it doesn't work. All right. That's all. You're welcome, Bob. That's it, folks. Listen, don't do stupid stuff in the afternoon. You don't have to shop there all day. Take what you got and go. I'll be back tomorrow in uniform, ready to go. I appreciate everybody. Enjoy the afternoon.